Welcome back into another episode of Sports Talk. We are here. Well, I'm here. Morgan is in a little bit of a different location, looking a little smaller in a window. She's in a car. Can you tell us where you're at, Morgan?
Yeah, I'm actually at the Shell gas station in Athens. I had to get me an energy drink. My mom is not going to like to see that, but I did get an Alani Nu. Shout out to Blaze. This flavor is actually delicious, cherry bomb. But track and field state championships, Mitchell County looking to three-peat, and let's not bury the lead. They did exactly that.
Yeah, day one of the GHSA state championships delivered in all facets. We kind of knew what to expect, and we expected Mitchell County to possibly come away with their third straight, and they did it. Morgan, I want to start there. This is a team, I think Coach Atkins said, he's just collecting rings at this point. I know he's going to let us know when the ring ceremony is and all that, but this is something they've been building towards, and it seems like ever since they won it 2 years ago, they've been no looking back. They've been dominant each and every time they're on the track.
Yeah, and speaking with Coach Atkins after the meet, he had his shades on. I was like, do you want to take your shades off? He was like, no, I've been crying. And like when he pulled his shades down, you can see the tears in his eyes. He was like, I can't be on camera. Everyone thinking I'm soft. I'm like, Coach Atkins, no one will think you're soft. That shows that you love these guys, you love this team. And he basically told me that while all the rings have meant a lot, this one really meant a lot to him because when you think about Jonathan and some of the other guys on the team, these guys are seniors, and he was like how this is the first class that he's had to go with him throughout all 4 years. So this one was something extremely special. And I was like, Coach Atkins, I feel like before the season even started, you told me y'all had a chance to go back to back to back. And I just asked him, at what point did you know y'all had a chance to do that? And he was like, honestly, at the end of last season, he felt like they had a really good group. And then he added Parnell Yates into the group. You look at how he ran at the beginning of the season, he looked like a football player who could run or was trying to learn how to run. But
Yeah.
then you look at him today, and you can just tell he made lots and lots of strides. And that just goes with like Coach Atkinson working with these guys, Coach Atkins working with these guys. And a lot of them just told me, they said Coach Atkins stuck with them, they believed in them, and they really feel like they were able to represent Mitchell County in a big way, and they were.
When we think about a three-peat, I mean, really in any sport at any level, you talk about dynasties. You talk about, we've seen it with the Lakers and the Bulls, and we talk about the Patriots not getting three, but getting two in a row, 3 and 4 years, things like that. At the high school level, it happens a little bit more frequent, I would say. But in track and field, there's such a turnover, and you have such good runners that leave as seniors. So it's hard to replenish some of those student athletes. What does it really say about Mitchell County that they've been able to not only maintain, but seems like they get better each and every year?
Yeah, you talk about just the turnover. For me, when it comes to track and field, it's not even so much turnover. You think about some schools you look at, they're strong in distance, they're strong in field events, or maybe they're strong in sprints, but it seemed like Mitchell County kind of got it correct all across the board. And then you add in some of the relays that they do well in as well. That's what got them to this win.
Yeah, I think you made a good point there. Being well-rounded is a plus when you can have some people maybe, qualify in certain events, but also place in certain events to add up some of those points when we start to look at how they finish at the end of the season. We have a lot we're going to get to with this Mitchell County, not only tonight, but also as we go throughout the week, just celebrating their third state championship in a row for Class A Division II. But I do want to kind of go through some of the events where some other people may have shined. And I want to start with the girls 200, specifically Lanier County's Callie Simmons. What a performance by her, not only in the 200, but also in the 400. How special was she when you saw her run?
Yeah, so the way they had the meet was I was actually at the very top, and I didn't exactly know who was in each heat. They called out some names, but for some reason I missed her name. She was in the second heat, and I just see the ladies running around the track. We had somebody from, actually Angel Harvey was in that heat, and then another lady from Early County, Carly Thornton, was also in that heat, and I'm focusing on them, and then you see this girl in the middle, you get out the turn, and that straightaway, it's like you figure out who's in front then. And then I just see Callie coming down the straightaway, and I honestly had no clue it was her. And then I'm looking at the stuff, I'm like, that was Callie. And she won the 400 as well. What got me about her is that she was the only person who ran a sub below a minute today at the state meet. When I think of state, I'm thinking everybody's running close to a minute. I think she outran the competition by 2 seconds. So just her poise, she's small, but she's mighty. So to see her run that, I was like, she's got a bright future ahead of her. And I believe she also PR'd in the 400.
Yeah, she did PR in the 400. She ran a 25:29, which finished first in the 200. And I believe she ran a 58 something in the 400. I don't have that exact number with me. But yeah, just a really, really special performance from her. I got a text from the principal saying, hey, Callie just won in the 400. You know, she got a PR. She's a state champion. So that was a really cool moment there. Also running in that race, you mentioned Carly Thornton, who also PR'd, and she finished fifth. So even though she came up short of the top three, she did PR with a 25.6. When you talk about track and field, you have a lot more experience, I think, than I do in this. But it is really, really important for these student athletes to have PRs because they're really competing against their best time. So it shows the improvement. It shows that she's doing what she needs to do to improve. And to have it happen on a state championship level, how cool is that for her?
Even besides it being state championship, I think for it to happen at a state-of-the-art SEC track,
Yeah,
for
true,
some
true.
athletes, you can tell that under the bright lights, even I'm a Gamecock, but I will give Georgia this. They have, like at the hog pen where the lights like flicker.
Hmm.
They had that there, but it was like red and white. I'm like, okay, Georgia, this is pretty nice. Okay, it's pretty nice. You see some athletes, they got afraid by those lights. They false started, but for her to come out there and really own that stage, it's a big deal. And that gives you something to look forward to and really build off of building into next season. Some athletes, they run a PR early in the season and then it's like they never get back to that time. So for her to do it at the last meet of the year, it's like, okay, we can work all summer, work on starts, work on eating up that turn, working the straightaway, all those things building into next season. Seeing maybe she can come with the top three finish or maybe finish first next season. You never know.
Yeah, it is a big deal. And you mentioned the facilities. It's really cool they get to do it at Georgia. Doesn't always feel really cool for us because we get certain access. They redid the infield,
Yeah.
so there's limitations on what we can do, but it is a great opportunity for athletes to perform on that level, especially some of those that might be performing at that level in the near future. Also, want to switch gears here to the boys 200. We mentioned Mitchell County, and I got to see a lot of this guy on the football field. I have only seen him run once, but Darius Robinson takes third, 22:40, and early counties Jamel Griffin took sixth in the 200. I don't know if you've seen Darius run before this. I'm sure you have. What most stood out about his performance?
The first time I ever saw Darius run, he had the headband on, like going across his thing. You know, we always say, if you're going to wear a headband, you got to be somebody.
Yeah.
And the first time I saw him run, I'm like, this guy, you look at some people, you see them run, you're like, that's a track athlete. Like, he's confident, he's a little bit cocky, like some track athletes are. And you talk about him getting third in the 200, that's not even his bread and butter. He got first in the 300-meter hurdles and also the 110 high hurdle. So just to see him come out there and dominate. Also his teammate, I'm not going to name any names, but false started. So that was kind of tough. They missed out on some points there. Obviously didn't matter because they still were able to win it all. But just a really good race overall by him. Like I said, that's not his top event, but he still finished really well in it.
Yeah, he was really big in the hurdles. I got to see a picture on Facebook of him, standing on the podium. Really happy there for him. When we look at the difference between running the different events, the 200 is such a different event than running a 300 hurdle. What does it take from a mental capacity, you think, to switch that gear from hurdles to just a sprint?
I think at the end of the day, you just got to have that dog in you. I feel like track is a sport. It's like you can't come out there half stepping. You can't come out there scared. You got to come out there confident. And that's the biggest thing that I see from him. His form is good. It looks good throughout the hurdles. He's not jumping over the hurdles. You like to see athletes run through the hurdles. He's confident, like I said. And I think don't get me wrong. I know he's got some more offers in, but I know he's big on Albany State at the moment. So I'm excited to see that. And just
Keep him in the good life.
in general. Yeah, the hurdles in general, we also had a lot of finishers in that. I think they took 3 places in the hurdles. Jonathan Isom also did well in the hurdles. And then Jaron Grissom also finished really well in the hurdles. So I feel like that's something a lot of our teams sometimes slack on. But for them to come out here and get a lot of points in that definitely helped them towards this win.
Yeah, really strong start for South Georgia in day one of the GHSA High School State Championships track and field up in Athens at UGA's track. When we come back, we're going to tackle some of the long distance events and see how some of our performers fared on that level. Stick with us. All right, we're back here on Sports Talk, joined by, of course, Morgan Jackson from Athens. She's up there for the GHSA State Championships. We're recapping day one. Morgan, let's talk about distance. I'm always so impressed by these runners that do the 1,600. The 3,200 is even more crazy because I don't think I've ever ran 3,200. I barely want to walk 3,200. Schley's Emmeline Snyder had an opportunity to cross the finish line in first place. She finishes in second. What happened?
So let me just walk you through when the girls come out of the chamber, if you will. She was seated first, and you know me, I love shoes. I'm looking at her shoes. The shoes that she had on cost close near $300. So I'm like, this girl has got to be a dog if she's wearing these shoes. Like, I literally looked at these shoes the other day. Whenever I really start to run, I'm going to get a pair, which will probably be never. But I'm like, she has to be good. She's wearing those shoes. So they start out running. She's sitting about like fifth, I would say, most of the race. And then you see her go to third. And then around like the last two laps, I want to say the second lap maybe, she makes her move, and okay, we're like, okay, cool. She makes her move. She's holding in the first. Great job. And then we come to about the 125 meter mark. You see the girl who finishes in first. I mean, I don't know how she had that much left in her air. And you'll see on the video, she sprints as if it was a 200 or something. And I think Emmeline just didn't have an inner at that point. She couldn't pick it up like the girl who won did, but she ran a really good race. And I think she's in a really good spot heading into next season.
Well, you got to think it's about pace, right? And somebody that's had that much experience probably has ran that a number of times. And so she probably is paced that out and said, I've done this before. I need to be within this distance in order to overtake her. Mm-hmm. And then you see that it happens like that. I am, too, a little bit perplexed at how somebody still has that much stamina left in them in that situation. But, again, Emmeline reaching the podium, still having that. Now, the real question is, you said you were looking those shoes up earlier this week, or were you doing it during the race?
No, like I looked at these shoes multiple times.
Oh, so you're really trying to get these shoes.
They're like $295. So it's like, I'm not, that just wouldn't be a smart financial decision for me. But yeah, she wore those shoes well. Shout out to Emmeline for sure.
Well, look, Emmeline is, like you mentioned, obviously a bright future there. I'm trying to look up who actually finished first. Looks like Kate Johnston from Washington Wilkes, and she ran a PR. So that should tell you her splits were a little crazy. That's what I was really trying to look at, is what her splits were. Yeah, that's crazy. That is crazy. Her splits, normally you see splits get wider and wider, right? Her splits towards the end got really close together. And that was the difference on that last lap. She just passed Emmeline.
Differential?
What's that?
Can you see it on there? How many seconds she beat Emmeline by?
This thing is not really cooperating with me, though. It's cutting it off, and I can't really see it. We're gonna have to come back to it. But yeah, it looks like setting that PR, and there were a number of people in that field that set a PR. It looks like 5 out of the top 10 set PRs, and that's pretty impressive on that stage. You also had Wilcox County's. What was her name, Morgan? That was finished 8th, Vera Carter.
Okay, so I got it.
Oh, you did end up finding it?
I got it. Hold on.
It looks like it's 12 something, but I can't really see. It's blocking it off and it's not allowing me. Oh, there it is.
3,200 single A.
So it looked like, okay, so here.
5 seconds, a little over 5 seconds.
She was 125.18 on the last split. Every other split before that outside of her first split was slower than that. So her last lap,
Wow.
she was 125.18. Prior to that, she was 136. She was 134, 136, 137, 135, 132. So that was her fastest split since that first split. Pretty impressive. Pretty impressive to do that on
Yeah.
the last lap.
Yeah, shout out to her. And then Vera Carter actually was the last to make it on the podium from Wilcox County,
Hmm.
running 13 minutes, 37.57 seconds. So shout out to Vera.
Yeah, we had
Getting
two
some
people on
points
the
for the two
podium.
from Rochelle.
Two people on the podium for the 3,200 on the girls' side. On the boys' side, we did have some PR set from Baconton Charter's Tyler Hayes. Just talk about what you saw from him and what we're impressed by.
Yeah, Tyler's always fun to watch. Just the way he gets out the gate, he gets out pretty fast, I think is really good about him. And then him being able to run a PR this year is obviously really, really good to be able to do that at state. But yeah, I just like to see him run. He just keeps his pace. And I feel like he definitely kind of saw once you get to state, the competition is just like a little, it's a little bit different.
It is very different. There's a lot of good runners. Dooley's Francisco Rodriguez came just one spot shy, finishing 11:46 24th, which was good for ninth place there. So just a little bit off of the podium. Switching over to the some of the field events. Triple jump, boys triple jump. Rayshawn Clyde, Randolph Clay's quarterback. He also does some things on the football field, handling business in the triple jump. He finished on the podium in seventh. Mitchell County's Montori Lee, a personal best 42 and 3.5 inches. He came in ninth, missing out just on the podium. What did you see from Rayshawn? Because again, I'm used to seeing most of these guys on the football field.
Yeah, so where I was, you could kind of see them waiting. They say somebody's on deck, somebody's in the hole. You could just kind of tell he was locked in the whole time, and I think that's what I liked about him the most. He was actually in the second flight, I believe, so he kind of had a while before he ran. You saw him and his coach go to the meeting beforehand. And I feel like when you jump second in the second heat, it's kind of like you see where everybody else is. So it's like, okay, this is what I got to do to come out here and really place. And he was able to do that. So shout out to Rayshawn.
Yeah, I mean, he's a super freak athlete already. So being that high up in an event like that, and the triple jump is hard to do. I don't even know how people
It's
do
hard.
it.
Yeah.
I don't even know
Yeah,
how
you
people
see him
do
just
it.
doing the run throughs. And then I think when he jumped, they were running another event. And he kind of waited till that event was over and he's like, okay, now it's my time. Now I'm going to jump. Now they finished across the finish line. So that was pretty cool to see him do that as well. Like you said, that's a hard event. It's hard on your knees. It's hard on your everything. But
I can't.
he was
It's
able
hard
to
on
get
my
it done.
brain. I
Seventh
can't even
place.
envision how they do the steps. Don't ask me to do it. I'm not that. I'm not that agile. All right, still to come. We are going to switch gears. We are going to head over to the boys 4x4. We're also going to talk more about Mitchell County as we round out day one of the GHSA State Championships up in Athens. Stick with us. We're back here on Sports Talk. Final block, Morgan. We are going to tackle one of the biggest races, at least in my eyes. Relays are always fun because it takes so much to hand off the baton and don't mess up. And I've been seeing these videos online lately about guys running in the wrong lane and handing it off to the wrong team. Like,
yes.
it's insane how exciting these events are. The 4x4 relay, Early County. The team of Jamarian Jackson, Keontrez Lindsay, Jalen Mays, and Jamel Griffin take the top spot. 325.40. What did you see from them? How impressed were you with what they were able to do in a field that's a pretty tough field?
Before I get to Early County, I kind of want to respond to what you said. When the 4x4 comes out, they say bring out those horses. So it's definitely one of the biggest events of the day. And you think about it, it's also the last event of the day. So it's like you've kind of been waiting all day for this. Some people are ready to go home. Everybody's ready to go home. Your legs are tired. You've done so many other events. And then you talk about the exchanges today. I saw so many drop batons in the 4x4 today, which to me is unusual because it's supposed to be an easier exchange because it's an open exchange instead of a blind exchange. Like, you just kind of gallop out, if we're using the horse reference, put the baton in your hand. So many drop batons today. I'm like, this is kind of weird. Maybe since it was at Georgia and the bright lights. But yeah, Early County, I actually saw them run the 4x4 earlier this year at sectionals, and I believe in another meet. And who impressed me the most today was actually Jimmy. Jimmy ran a really good leg today, and I think that kind of catapulted the team to the win. The first lap, I feel like they were coming in maybe like third or fourth when the first exchange happened. But yeah, they were excited about this one. Afterwards, the embrace between them and coach, you can tell it really, really meant a lot to them.
Well, I mean, if you're Jimmy, your strides are probably twice the size of everybody
Right.
else's. So you covering so much ground. That it's really cool for them, especially these guys that, like I said, do so many other sports. To have that track and field speed is very, very different, but it does unlock a different element to your athleticism. So to see those guys have that success on that stage is really, really fun. Mitchell County, a team that, again, is usually good enough to be in a lot of these events, place, get some points, which is how they end up getting to a three-peat. Also on the podium, they finished sixth. Parnell Yates, Willie Davis, Marcus Vicks, and Cameron Vicks finished with a time of 3:36.57. And this was just the icing on the cake, I guess you can say, for that third state championship. The last event, make sure no one gets close. No wild things happen to where you're going to lose enough points or people catch you in points, and they secure the victory. Mitchell County, we've talked a lot about them. They get it done. How does Camilla continue to produce these type of athletes? Because I mean, we've seen athletes prior, but they continue to produce guys. I'll be honest with you. I didn't know who Darius Robinson was before this season. And even from a football sense, I just kind of forgot or didn't know. Parnell comes over here. They just seem to have so many athletes. And when you add that with Coach Atkins, he's producing state championships on the track.
Yeah, I really don't know how Mitchell County kind of gets it done. They're just that team from Camilla. And one of the coaches was saying this after the game. He was like, y'all are in the record books. He's like, no team in Camilla. Or maybe he said, I feel like he said Coach Haynes' name. So maybe they did this when Coach Haynes played basketball. I was assuming. He said some other guys' names that I wasn't familiar of. But I think whether we know it or not, there's a rich tradition of winning in Camilla. Maybe it was when they were Mitchell Baker or split up or whatever, but I think even over the past years, we've seen just the improvement on the football field, girls basketball improving, and then it seems like boys basketball is always in the number. And this team, this track team, they just work and they really, really love each other. I think they just have a connection, and it comes from them playing all those other sports together. And then when you add in just the natural athleticism that they have, on top of the speed, I mean, it's a recipe for 3 state championships.
3 state championships. I'd be daring to ask Coach, are we going to go for 4? I'm sure he would love to do that. This team has been extremely special. We are not done celebrating them. Morgan's going to have more on Mitchell County Eagles coming up throughout the week. We're going to have more on the GHSA state championships. Day 2 happening today. More great athletes. We have Class A Division 1 and 6A. Thomasville's there. We know what we expect from Thomasville. We're going to have the highlights from that one throughout the week as well, so you're going to want to stay tuned for that. Morgan, I know you are a busy, busy woman. We have high school baseball, high school soccer, and all the GHSA state championships, plus GIAA on the way. But thank you for stopping at a Shell gas station and joining. Any final words for the people that are concerned about you sitting in a gas station drinking Alani Nu?
The Lord is on my side. I'm recovering the blood, so I'm okay. I'm totally fine. I'm going to eat some chips on the way home. But as you know, track and field is one of my favorite sports, so I just don't even take the opportunity for granted to be at Georgia, amongst other places, for this state track meet. Really nice facilities, really good time, just to see our athletes, to see Brendan run from Berrien, all the people, Worth County, very exciting experience. And then obviously Thomasville, with their injuries, kind of a toss-up, but still obviously super excited. I got to see them run at state after missing them. Seeing them run this past year. I hate it wasn't at Hugh Mills this year because we love being at Hugh Mills. We get more access with the athletes and players, but Hopefully I was able to highlight everyone pretty well throughout the week, and we'll have more, like you said, as the week goes on. But shout out Mitchell County, shout out Coach Atkins. I have a question for you though. Do you
Oh
think
no.
they're a dynasty? Because Coach Atkins said
Three in a row.
dynasty. What do you
Three in a
think?
row is a dynasty. I've always said this in any sport.
Okay.
You win three in a row of something at the highest level, you're a dynasty. It is definitely a dynasty for me. They can lock that up. They should get that printed somewhere on the new rings when they get the new rings. They are a dynasty.
Yeah, just love the way they represent South Georgia, and we'll see if they can go back to back next year.
All right, we're going to let you know who else can come away with some top spots throughout the week. Make sure you stay tuned for that. We're going to see if Morgan gives us a go dogs. Sick 'em. On the sports talk maybe later this week. We'll see. Thank you for joining us tonight here on Sports Talk. We will see you guys tomorrow night.